The fast food chain Jack in the Box announces that it is closing hundreds of its stores. The franchise, which was started right here in San Diego.
Folks, if you thought your favorite fast food joint was safe, think again. Across America, neon signs are flickering off, drive-thrus are closing down, and once iconic chains are vanishing faster than a dollar menu item during inflation. What's happening to the places we grew up on, the spots we hit on road trips, late-night cravings, or quick family dinners? Well, buckle up, because today we're revealing 7 fast food giants that might not survive 2025. And spoiler alert, some of these are going to sting. We're kicking things off with a chain that once ruled the sandwich world and is now falling apart faster than a day-old footlong. Subway. At one point, Subway was everywhere. I mean everywhere. You couldn't drive 5 minutes without spotting those yellow and green signs shouting "Eat Fresh." They had over 41,000 locations globally, outnumbering McDonald's. Subway wasn't just a sandwich shop. It was a global empire built on 6-inch promises and foot-long dreams. But fast forward to today, and it's looking more like eat when you can find one. In just the past 5 years, Subway has shuttered over 4,000 locations. That's not just a slump. That's a free fall. It's like watching someone on a New Year's diet, except instead of losing weight, they're losing stores by the thousands. And the real kicker? Their biggest problem isn't even the shrinking store count. It's the franchise owners waving red flags like they're at a NASCAR race. These are the people who actually run the shops, and they're drowning in fees, up to 12.5% of revenue, while being forced to follow corporate rules so complicated they might as well come with a lawyer. And let's not forget the ingredient disasters. Remember when people found out their bread had a chemical used in yoga mats? Yeah, you heard that right. Yoga mats. Sure, they pulled it after public outrage, but their menu is still packed with preservatives, high fructose corn syrup, and enough sodium to pickle a whale. And don't even get me started on the tuna scandal. Nothing screams confidence like a lawsuit claiming your seafood might not actually be seafood. To stay afloat, Subway tried selling the entire company in 2023 for $10 billion. Spoiler alert, no one bit. And while chains like Jersey Mike's and Jimmy John's are stealing the fresh and fast crown, Subway is left clinging to a reputation that's aging worse than last week's lettuce. But Subway isn't the only one circling the drain. Let's slide into number 2, a place that once promised home-cooked comfort, but now feels more like a punchline. Boston Market. Remember those spinning rotisserie chickens in the glass ovens? The smell of mac and cheese, cornbread, and mashed potatoes? Boston Market used to own the comfort food game. At its peak in the 90s, it had over 1,200 locations. Even grocery stores were slapping their logo on frozen dinners. Back then, Boston Market was hotter than their own ovens. Fast forward to today, and it's colder than leftover meatloaf. Boston Market has collapsed to fewer than 300 locations nationwide, a 75% nosedive. And the fall isn't just in store count. Employees have shown up to work only to find locked doors, unpaid wages, and customers pressing their faces against windows like kids outside a closed candy store. The company even got evicted from its own headquarters. That's right. The place that once sold comfort food is now couch surfing in the corporate world. What went wrong? Competition? Grocery stores started offering the same style of meals, cheaper, faster, and without the $30 price tag. Delivery apps made it easier to get actual home-cooked food from real restaurants. And Boston Market? They stuck with the same heavy menu while everyone else went fresh, trendy, and health-conscious. Oh, and their last big idea? A burger called the BM. Yeah, someone really didn't think that one through. With debt piling up and locations vanishing, Boston Market is looking less like home-style cooking and more like a cautionary tale. But believe it or not, it's about to get worse, because the next chain on our list, well, let's just say you might have a better chance of spotting Bigfoot than finding one of these in 2025, is a chain that once made milkshakes fancy, offered sit-down service at drive-through prices, and now looks more like a ghost town than a grill. We're talking about Steak and Shake. For years, Steak and Shake stood out in the fast food jungle. They had actual waiters, real ceramic plates, and hand-spun milkshakes served in glass cups. It was the perfect mix of diner nostalgia and fast food pricing. You felt a little fancy, but your wallet didn't suffer. But here's the thing about cheap prices and table service. One of them had to give. And spoiler alert, it wasn't the prices. The business model was shaky from the start. Customers looking for fast food waited 30 to 40 minutes for a burger that should have taken 5. People came for quick service and ended up binge-watching their phone battery die before their food showed up. And when they finally got their food, the quality wasn't exactly worth the wait. Since 2018, Steak and Shake has shut down over 300 locations. In 2020 alone, more than 100 stores closed their doors. And in 2023, the bleeding continued with 70 more disappearing. At this rate, you'll spot more tumbleweeds than open Steak and Shakes in some states. The debt? Oh, it's worse than their soggy fries. In 2021, they narrowly dodged bankruptcy by paying off a $153 million loan just days before the deadline. Desperate to stay alive, they ripped out table service and slapped in self-service kiosks. Because nothing says, we care about your dining experience like turning your neighborhood diner into a vending machine. Even worse, their parent company's stock has dropped over 60% since 2018. That's not just bad. That's your retirement plan is now worth a pack of gum. Bad. And don't think loyal customers haven't noticed. The steak in Steak and Shake? It used to mean freshly ground steak burgers. Now, fans are complaining about smaller portions, higher prices, and bland, inconsistent food. It's like watching your favorite rock band go from sold-out stadiums to playing birthday parties at Chuck E. Cheese. But if you think that's messy, wait till you hear about a chain that literally couldn't decide what its own name should be. Next up, Checkers and Rallies. Depending on where you live, you either call it Checkers or Rallies, because apparently picking one name was just too much commitment. These guys were ahead of their time in the 90s with double-lane drive-thrus and no dining rooms. It was drive-thru or bust. Sounds genius, right? Well, not exactly. By 2016, the chain was struggling so badly it got sold off for $525 million to a private equity firm. And while they promised to revitalize the brand, all they really did was slap a fresh coat of paint on an already sinking ship. In 2023, Checkers and Rallies filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy with over $650 million in debt. That's not just a speed bump. That's driving off a financial cliff. Dozens of stores have closed, leaving behind those black and white checkerboard buildings like abandoned fast food tombstones. And while they blame rising food and labor costs, industry experts know the real problem. Their menu hasn't changed in decades. In a world of cauliflower crusts and plant-based burgers, these guys are still pushing cheap burgers and fries like it's 1999. Their biggest innovation? Screaming, "You gotta eat," in commercials. Spoiler alert, most people decided they really didn't. Their locations, often in rundown neighborhoods, don't exactly scream pull in for quality. And while their seasoned fries still have a cult following, let's be honest. If fries are your only claim to fame in 2025, you're in trouble. Let's talk about a chain that tried to be the jack of all trades and ended up the master of none. Yep, We're heading straight into the culinary identity crisis known as Del Taco. Picture this. You pull up to the drive-thru and the menu hits you with bacon cheeseburgers, bean burritos, and crinkle-cut fries, all under the same roof. It's like Taco Bell, a greasy spoon diner, and your local burger shack had a chaotic food baby. And for a while, weirdly enough, it worked. Founded back in 1964, Del Taco carved out its own little kingdom on the West Coast, expanding to over 580 locations. They called themselves the Fresh Mexican Grill, claiming they could beat Taco Bell at tacos and outburger the burger joints, all in one stop. It was fast food fusion before fusion was even a thing. But here's the problem: identity crisis. Are they Mexican? Are they American? Are they confused? Customers never really knew. And in 2021, when Jack in the Box swooped in and bought Del Taco for $575 million, fans hoped for a glow-up. What they got instead? A slow-motion fade-out. Since the buyout, Del Taco's new store openings have basically stopped. Existing locations? Quietly vanishing. Menu innovation? If you call adding more fries to more things innovation, sure. Their biggest recent headline was the epic Cali Bacon Burrito, which, let's be honest, is just fries inside a tortilla. Creative, maybe. Game-changing, not even close. And here's the real kicker. The fries are still the most talked about item on their menu. Not the tacos, not the burritos, the fries. When your Mexican restaurant is famous for crinkle-cut potatoes, you've officially lost the plot. And while Del Taco quietly drifts into fast food obscurity, another chain is clinging to life one tiny burger at a time. Get ready for the Southern classic that's shrinking faster than their slider patties, Crystal. If you've never heard of Crystal, don't worry, you're not alone. But in the South, these tiny square sliders have been around since 1932. That's right. They've been feeding folks for nearly a century. At their peak, Crystal had over 420 locations across 11 states, serving up their signature steamed sliders by the sackful. Think White Castle, but with more sweet tea and Southern charm. But here's the thing. Crystal's been in a slow-motion collapse for years. In 2020, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, drowning in up to $100 million in debt. They closed 44 locations before they even filed the paperwork. And after getting scooped up for a bargain, $27 million, basically pocket change in the fast food world, the new owners promised a revival. Then the pandemic hit. Crystal tried to pivot, new drive-through designs, celebrity partnerships, even bigger burgers, kind of missing the whole slider point. But hey, points for effort. They even rolled out breakfast options, hoping to capture the early morning commute crowd. You could grab a sack full of mini sausage biscuits or chicken minis with a coffee. But let's face it, nobody wakes up craving sliders at 7 a.m. Did it work? Not really. Store counts keep dropping, and they've stopped publishing official numbers. That's never a good sign. And while they tried to push into new markets, Crystal never really expanded outside its comfort zone. If you don't live in the Southeast, chances are you've never even seen one. That regional limitation is a death sentence in today's national fast food wars, where chains like Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's are expanding coast to coast. It's like they're hoping nobody notices the empty buildings popping up across the South. And speaking of things you probably haven't noticed in years, let's talk about the final stop on our list, Quiznos. Remember Quiznos? The toasted sub king that made Subway shake in its boots back in the day? In 2007, Quiznos had over 5,000 locations. 5,000. That's, you'll trip over one walking out of another level saturation. But fast forward to today, and they're down to less than 200. Yeah, 96% of their stores are gone. And the reasons? Oh, they're juicy. Quiznos' franchise model was brutal. Franchisees were forced to buy everything, from bread to napkins, directly from corporate at inflated prices. Running a busy store didn't even guarantee you'd make a profit. It was like joining a gym that charges you extra just to use the treadmill you already paid for. Bankruptcy hit not once, but twice, 2014 and 2018. And while Subway started toasting their subs to steal Quiznos' thunder, newer players like Jersey Mike's and Firehouse Subs showed up with fresher, cleaner business models. Quiznos tried gimmicks, lobster rolls, prime rib sandwiches, even bizarre marketing campaigns featuring creepy sponge monkeys singing off-key jingles. But none of it worked. Customers moved on. Better prices, better quality, better franchise models won out. Today, finding a Quiznos feels like spotting a Blockbuster video. You get that little hit of nostalgia, and then remember why you stopped going. Even their once legendary toasted subs feel outdated. In a world where everyone offers toasted options, what's left to set them apart? Nothing. The truth is, these chains didn't just fall behind, they let the entire industry lap them while they stood still, clinging to outdated menus and broken business models. And here's the big takeaway. These chains aren't just closing stores, they're getting left behind. In the fast food game, you evolve or you vanish. It's brutal, it's fast, and it doesn't care about your childhood memories. If this list surprised you, or if you have your own fast food horror story, drop it in the comments. We read them all. And hey, if this video saved you a wasted trip to a dying chain, or gave you something new to debate with your friends, hit that like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next brutally honest ranking. This is Frugal Pro. We taste the truth so your wallet doesn't have to. See you next time.